Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm thrilled to be here with you. Matthew is my name, and I get to be your host for the night. Welcome to your virtual college fair. I'm going to go over a couple notes before we jump right in, and then we will get started. So during this night, the Q&A is turned on. If you have any questions to ask, please feel free to use it. You don't have to wait until the end. Please feel free to ask anything that comes to your mind as it comes to your mind. My only ask for you is that if your question is for one school versus if your question is for the entire group, to notate that when you type the thing you have to ask. A note as well that your camera and microphones are off and will stay off during the whole night. Your only job is to sit back, listen to what our reps have to say about their wonderful schools, and to take all the notes that you may need to. This is session 3 of 3 for the night, but this is day 1 of 2 for this whole fair. Hopefully you've heard from some wonderful schools during the first 2, and hopefully you have time to sign up for more in day 2. And just a note as well, is that in the same link that you signed up for this session, a link to this will be posted in about a week's time. So we will film this, and if you would like to look back to take more notes or to see, to hear what they have to say once again, you can do that. Just to show you a bit about where we will be for the night, we are in session C1, where my cursor is at the bottom left, and these are the wonderful schools that you will hear from during our time tonight. All right, with that being said, that wraps up my notes. I'm going to get out of the way and jump right in and introduce our first school, the University of Dayton.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Matthew, for your participation as our facilitator. And thank you to all of the people who are here in the Zoom room. My name is William Coleman. I'm an assistant director of recruitment and admission at University of Dayton. I'm also a 2015 alum of the university, so I'm really excited to be here at this virtual college fair to share a little bit more about University of Dayton. University of Dayton is a private Catholic Marianist university located in Dayton, Ohio. And what that means is that as a Catholic Marianist university, we empower our students to learn, to lead, and to serve so that when they leave the university, not only are they prepared to be really impactful in their careers, but they really are ready to be engaged in community. And community is huge at University of Dayton. We really believe in commitment to community. We want our students to know that they're a part of our space. Our president says it like this: if you're looking for places that are just about tests, papers, and quizzes, you'll hear from a lot of institutions, but UD is special because it really connects our students together. And I'll talk a little bit more about that because our community is physical. Over 85% of our students live on campus all 4 years. Now, talking about our students, we have just over 8,200 undergraduate students. So we're really the perfect mid-sized school, right? We're big enough that we have a lot of the experiences and resources that students are looking for. Division I athletics, heavy research investment on our campus, multiple Fortune 500s, but at the same time, we're small where it counts. 14-to-1 true student faculty ratio. You can see our class sizes listed there. 97% of our classes are taught with less than 50 students in size. So for students, it's really a place where you have all of the opportunities at your fingertips, but you'll still know your advisor and your professors on a year-over-year basis. And that leads to our retention. 91% of the students that start at University of Dayton continue. That's in comparison to a national average that, is not nearly as high. It's somewhere in the high 60s. So for us, we know we have an experience that keeps students coming back and keeps them engaged. It starts obviously inside the classroom. We have over 80 different academic programs, a number of brand new programs, including nursing, which we partner with Sinclair, who you'll hear from here in a couple moments, which is a great opportunity for students to get a rich nursing experience paired with the University of Dayton background. A number of new majors: healthcare administration, health sciences. We are the #1 Catholic university in engineering research. So for students, Engineering is definitely going to be a big piece. And we even have some bachelor's plus master's programs for students that may be looking to explore going on to grad school or potentially a law school option. At UD, there are so many things to get involved in. We want students that craft the extracurricular experience that they're looking for because our students take commitment to community serious. We're more than a school. We're really a home for our students. So when you're looking at a number of statistics, we have a lot of ways for students to get involved on campus, 270 clubs and organizations, things around recreation, around faith, around service, around academics. There are so many different things for students to get involved. And I mentioned it, our campus is a physical campus. So you can see a little bit in that right-hand corner, our side-by-side living for students, whether in our residence hall, which is our traditional dorms, whether it's in our apartment living or when one of the unique houses that you see listed there. It's an intentional effort to connect students in community. And that's something that at University of Dayton, we really believe in. All of that to say that students value their experience at University of Dayton, and the statistics back that up. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what separates UD. At UD, we really believe in transparency when it comes to cost of attendance. So students will know exactly what their cost is going to be up front. You can plan for your cost of attendance. Every student has access to $4,000 in textbook scholarship. So we want to make sure that families know that we're there, a part of the entire affordability conversation, not just for 1 year, but all 4 years. And we've even eliminated fees. You won't see a lab fee or be surprised by a graduation fee or matriculation fee. We've taken those things off the table to really give families peace of mind when it comes to their education. Now, let's talk a little bit more specifically, a number of ways to apply at University of Dayton. We have our specific application. We're a member of the Common Application as well as the Coalition Application. Feel free to get your application in. We only require a high school transcript in order to complete your application as a test optional institution. We no longer require either an ACT or a SAT test score. Students still can provide that, but it is not required. A number of important dates listed at the bottom. The one that I want to focus on is our November 1 early action deadline. That really is going to get students in our earliest communication pool. You can see that most of our decisions are released in November. Our financial aid awards are made available in January. And then you'll still have access to all of our admitted student events, as well as to get involved before our May 1 enrollment date, where a lot of our families kind of use that as a line in the sand for their experience. I want to share how you can get connected with us. These are some of our social media platforms. That way you can follow the University of Dayton either on Instagram, on Facebook, Snapchat. There are all types of ways to get connected. I really think that students should take time to come to the University of Dayton to visit. Our on-campus experience is really unmatched. And that's why over 80% of the students that visit our campus end up applying. If you have more questions, you're interested in connecting with me personally, I'm gonna go ahead and drop my link in the chat. It's really been a pleasure to speak with you all today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, with that being said, the next school you will hear from tonight is Sinclair Community College.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining. Okay. So my name is Morgan. I'm one of the high school counselors at Sinclair. We are, you're going to hear from a lot of schools tonight, and this is a lot of information. So like everyone else is going to say, if you have more questions, put those in the chat or reach out to us individually. There's a lot to learn when you're looking at all of these schools. So it's great to either take notes or refresh later. So we're going to dive right in to just talk about what Sinclair does have to offer oh, sorry, I'm losing my mouse for a second. What Sinclair has to offer to students who are interested in attending Sinclair or maybe using that as a transfer option for their 4-year. So with that being said, Sinclair does offer over 300 or nearly 300, degree and certificate programs. Those can be broken down into short-term and long-term certificates. Some of those will be associate degrees, which are either technical or applied. What that means is that might be something really driven towards the career field like nursing, dental hygiene, and then some of those other associates will be more general. So maybe those are what you're transferring to a 4-year. And then we do have a bachelor's degree in aviation and professional pilot, which is very new to us. And it's very, very cool. So with those programs, you're going to see those in our health sciences field, business and public services, STEM, so science, mathematics, and engineering, and then lastly, liberal arts, communication, and social sciences. We do offer 5 locations, and the one that most people are familiar with is the Dayton campus, which is where most of us work. It is our largest campus, and it does house most of our programs. What's different about Sinclair is that once you're a Sinclair student, you can attend all of our campuses. So Dayton, Centerville, Huber Heights, Inglewood, and Mason. You can take classes at all of them. You could take classes at more than one. If you move, you can, whatever's more convenient for you, you can take those classes. And our final campus, which isn't a real campus, will be our online platform. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. With our transfer programs, like I mentioned, we are seeing a lot of students transfer to our 4-year partners within Ohio and out of Ohio, depending on what their plans are for their 4-year program or their educational and career goals. So Sinclair is well established, and what I mean by that is we are very strong in the community. We have great community ties. A lot of our programs are actually influenced by our partners, and some of our buildings and facilities are funded by those. So our health sciences building, as we were just talking about the University of Dayton, our nursing program is actually funded by Premier Health. All of those facilities are hands-on facilities that actually offer the equipment that they're using in current hospitals. So students are really getting that hands-on in current skill level for their program. So once they graduate, they can slide right in. And that is not only with our nursing and health sciences, but we see that with automotive. We actually have a Tesla Start program, which is very cool, but we also offer Honda and other brands for students who are looking to go towards a certain program. And again, it doesn't end there. So you're going to see a lot of that. Our facilities are very hands-on and usually funded by our community businesses because they need employees. So they want their future employees to be trained with the equipment that they're currently using. With affordability, when you think about college, you do think about cost, and that's one thing we really want students to be able to benefit from their education and afford their education. So what we do is we offer our Montgomery County a different cost than the rest of our Ohio residents. So for Montgomery County residents, we charge by the credit hour. So it's about $126, with our other residents of Ohio being $173.28 per credit hour. What that means is that you're not charged an overall tuition price. You are charged by the term that you are enrolled in for what you're registered for. And you will see that bill change as you are registered for different credit hours and different programs. What's really nice about this is for our new high school students that are graduating this year, we offer a high school merit scholarship. And then we do offer over $3 million in scholarships every year. And those are based on start terms. So for the summer, fall, and spring, we have different scholarship deadlines so that our students have different chances to offer. And right now, due to the situation of COVID and the pandemic, we offer special COVID funding. So sometimes there's grants and scholarships that are based on if you've had trouble over the last year and if you're enrolled full-time, which is really nice for our students who are starting over. Flexibility. So like I said, we do offer a lot of online courses. So we have over 34 programs that can be completed fully online by campus locations, and many classes that are offered online outside of the in-person classes that you will see as well. Transferability is huge for us because we see a lot of students who want that 4-year degree without paying the full cost of a 4-year program with tuition. So we have over 300 university transfer agreements and multiple transfer partners within the state of Ohio. And like I said, some students transfer outside of Ohio. What that means is for some of these schools, there are programs directly in line already laid out for students who know exactly what they want to end with and where they want to go. So when you meet with your advisor at Sinclair, they have your pathway laid out with the classes you'll need at both institutions, which is really nice. For some of those schools, like University of Dayton and Wright State specifically, they do offer some transfer scholarships, which is really nice. And a lot of other perks due to their proximity to Sinclair. So because they're in the same area, our students get some more benefits, but that doesn't speak for all of them. So we have, this list is not inclusive. We have multiple programs that our students transfer to and that have scholarship opportunities and other perks for students who choose to transfer after their 2 years at Sinclair. So right now we are, how you can connect is still virtually. We offer virtual information sessions, which would be with an admissions counselor in a group setting. Then we offer virtual one-on-one appointments with an admissions counselor to talk about where you are in the enrollment process and what you need to do next. We offer virtual transfer 101 sessions, which will be with our partners. So maybe University of Kentucky joins us or Franklin University joins us and talks about their program. And then we also offer FAFSA virtual appointments as well as FAFSA workshops for those completing the FAFSA. And just before I go, I wanted to say there are a lot of, it looks like there's a lot of steps to get started, but they really are simple. Our application is free. It is all online. And you can connect with us, like I said, through our appointments or online. I'm so sorry, my mouse keeps leaving me. So if you do have any questions, you can see us online or you can connect with me here and I can give you that information.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Echoing the wonderful tip that if you have any questions to ask, just a note once again that the Q&A is open. So ask anything that you may have. And just and ask once again to put the name of the school in the question that you have. Wonderful. Okay, so the next school you will hear from tonight is Wright State University.
All right. So I just want to say thank you for having me. Try to share this screen. All right. So my name is Davion. I am one of the admissions representatives, of course, at Wright State. So just to go over some information about the school, we're considered a mid-sized school. So it's around 13,000 students. Our class sizes are around 13 to 1, so it's really easy to talk to the professor. They're easily accessible and manageable, so you don't feel overwhelmed with your class sizes. With our application process, we have a rolling admission, so students can actually apply to Wright State up until the first day of classes starting. Of course, ideally, you want to take care of that as soon as possible, but you do have that option. So as far as our scholarships go, we have academic performance scholarships, which are automatically given to students. So as soon as you apply and you get accepted, if you meet the GPA requirement for any of our scholarships, you'll automatically get it. The GPA requirement starts at a 3.2 for our academic scholarships, and then it goes up from there. We also have a competitive scholarship application. That's literally one application. It drops you into a pool of different scholarships by just doing that one application. So it's really nice, and we made it really easy for our students, right? So, and then we also have need-based, we just want to make sure that we have money available to help out as many students as possible. So we have roughly around 140 degree programs that students can choose from. We also have, with that, our tunnel system. So our tunnel system is great. So our tunnel system connects all of our academic buildings. So students can take our underground tunnels and get from class to class without ever having to step a foot outside, which is really, really nice, especially seeing as how it's been snowing and cold. So as far as our requirements for living on campus, we have on-campus apartments and we have on-campus dorm. We have different room styles that you can choose from within our dorms, such as like singles, super singles, doubles, double deluxe, and triples. Then once you're a sophomore, you'll be eligible to stay in the on-campus apartments. And we adopted, I would say about 2 years ago, our Wright tuition guarantee. That means whatever rate you are quoted when you first enter Wright State, you will have that rate for 4 years and it will not increase, right? And so on top of that, we're an experiential based university. So how quickly can we get you in the classroom, but then also kick you out of the classroom so you can start doing these paid internships? Because we all know experience is the best teacher. And so our students are interning at, well, just to name a few, you have Honda, GE, and the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, even though there's plenty more companies that our students intern at. So we also have, from a student standpoint of getting involved, we have over 180 student organizations. We have our full culture and identity centers for students that identify as Latin, Asian, Native American. We have a Black Girl Native Cultural Center, LGBTQA Center, and we have a Women's Center. Our disability services are top. They help accommodate students who have psychological disabilities, learning disabilities, physical disabilities, and psychological disabilities. Say, for instance, I worked with the counselor when she was here in undergrad. She broke her wrist, and disability services gave her someone to take notes on all of her classes for the rest of that semester. So those are just some things to, that you're going to look forward to. As far as definitely, if you need the help, we're definitely there. So as far as tours go, we're back to giving on-campus tours. So you can come visit campus. We give tours Monday through Friday at 10 a.m., at 12 p.m., and at 2 p.m. So that's our tours now. So all you have to do is go to our wright.edu, our webpage, and then you'll be able to see the calendar where you'll be able to schedule for your tour, and we'll be able to accommodate you and take care of any paperwork and anything that you may need. So with that, that basically concludes my presentation. If you all have any questions, anything, just hit me up in the chat box and I'll be sure to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, folks. The next school you will hear from tonight is the University of Cincinnati.
Thank you, Matthew. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Prebles. I am an admissions counselor here at the University of Cincinnati. And let me just get my bearings here for my screen sharing. All right. So let's talk a little bit about UC. So we are the second largest public school in the state of Ohio. And this enrollment number kind of encapsulates a lot of things. So I'm going to go here, and I don't know what is going on with this slide, so I'll just zoom in and make it a little bit easier to see. We do have 3 campuses at the University of Cincinnati. So you have a couple different pathways to consider when you're choosing UC. So of that total enrollment, majority of our students are at our main campus, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio, about 2 miles north of downtown. And then we offer 2 regional campuses called UC Blue Ash and UC Claremont. So they have smaller enrollment numbers, they're smaller campuses, more individualized, communication with professors. It's a little bit more affordable. So there's a lot of different options with those that I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned today. Talking a little bit about what we have to offer. So we do have over 350 programs of study to choose from in a variety of different concentration areas like medical, engineering, business, kind of the general things across the board. We also have exploratory studies, which is our undecided program. So if you're not quite sure what you're kind of thinking of majoring in, we always recommend students to start an exploratory. Our student to faculty ratio is 17:1. So while we are a pretty large institution, we do our best to staff appropriately to meet the needs of our students inside and outside of the classroom. And then all of our programs are split up into the 13 different academic colleges on our campus. So if you want to figure out where you're going to take most of your classes or who you're going to start to see as your professors and who your advisor will be, that's kind of how I explain academic colleges, just kind of because I didn't know what those were when I was in high school. So moving on to different resources. So Students at every single campus all have access to these resources. No matter where they're taking classes, you are a Bearcat, so you are going to have access to everything that every Bearcat needs to see. So things like academic advising, the Learning Commons, which is like our free tutoring service, one-stop student services. So that's kind of where you'll go for financial aid questions, accessibility resources, and the Experience-Based Learning Career Education Center at the bottom of the list. Those are like the 5 things that you should definitely see at some point when you're a student at UC. And then everything else on this list is our identity-based offices and organizations on our campus. And so I really like to highlight those just because we like to make sure that students feel like they are included and that they are thought of no matter what identity that they have when they come to UC. So something that we really value at UC, like many of my other friends here tonight from admissions have been saying, is that we really value experience. So something really unique about the University of Cincinnati is that we actually invented co-op in 1906. So we've been doing it for a really long time. And so we kind of got our groove going on. So with co-op and internships, those are both really dependent on, what's available for your major, right? The difference between the two, co-op being guaranteed pay, internships are not. So again, co-op is full-time paid, and then internships can be part-time, paid, unpaid. And then the other ones listed on the screen are experiences that are really tailored to specific majors. So like clinicals, nursing, student teaching. But I just wanted to highlight those as well. And then, of course, we like to talk about being involved on campus is super important to really individualize your experience at not just UC, but wherever you end up going. And so these are a couple of the different examples. We have more clubs than we do majors. So that should tell you something about how important it is to be involved, I think, personally. So yeah, definitely check those out at any point during your time at UC. And then applying to UC is pretty simple. We do use the Common App exclusively. So make sure that you get that filled out, send in your transcripts, and do your letter of recommendation. We do require one of those. I skipped over ACT and SAT because we're actually test optional for fall of 2021 and fall of 2022. So unless you're interested in the honors program, nursing, or early childhood education, we will not need a test score, which I think is really freaking cool if you ask me. I'm super excited about that. Tuition at UC here it is. We're about $12,000 for in-state tuition. Out of state hopefully doesn't apply here, but we do have metro and reciprocity rates for students who are in Indiana and Kentucky. Room and board is an additional cost on top of tuition. So that room and board does include the meal plan as well. And it comes in a variety of different prices because of it depends on where you live. So about 83% of our first year students choose to live on campus. And if you live outside of a 50-mile radius from our campus, you're required to live on campus for your first year. We do have some scholarships that we offer here at UC, but they are merit-based and they're also very competitive. They get awarded to the top 25 to 30% of each academic college. And the only way you can apply for these is to just submit your application by the early action deadline, which is December 1st of your senior year. So that's all that is needed to be considered for all of the scholarships that we offer at UC. So when you apply and you're wondering what's next, this is it. So you confirm your admission by the national deadline of May 1st. That way you can start applying for housing, attend summer orientation to get your class schedule and get your Bearcat card. It's super fun and official. And then we're gonna start to hound you with some UC emails. So you'll wanna make sure that you check your UC email address. But that's all for the purpose of this short presentation. And so I'll stop sharing my screen and thank you for listening.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I still have my undergrad college card from years ago. It's a very special thing to grab. All right, folks, with that being said, the next school you will hear from tonight, Xavier University.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining on tonight. My name is Haley Wolf. I'm an admissions counselor here at Xavier University. We are the other Cincinnati University right across town from UC. So Andrea did a great job and probably will overlap in our talk a little bit about Cincinnati tonight. But for those of you who might be joining the call, again, you probably heard of Xavier at least a little bit. Perhaps you might have a relative or a friend who's an alumni or current student, but there's always so much more to learn about Xavier. So I'm excited to kind of share with you a couple of big things that you should be taking away tonight. So first of all, first and foremost, who are we here at Xavier University? Well, we are a medium-sized Jesuit Catholic university located here right in the Queen City. And I think that one of the first things that students really take away from coming to visit, or if you've had experiences with the Xavier community before, it is this sense of all for one, right? And I think that first and foremost alludes to our massive school spirit, the Xavier Musketeer definitely being kind of one of the things we're most proud of. But I think it also really begins to speak towards the community that we share on campus. We're a very family-centric university. And I think you can definitely start to see that with this picture of this crazy group of kids right here. So this is our Manresa Move crew. This group will be meeting you the first day on our campus as you pull up to your freshman residence hall. And they'll be there to welcome you, to scream your name, welcome your family, and also to carry everything that you brought to college up to your residence hall room for you. And then over the next 4 days, you'll take place in Manresa orientation, where you'll interact with your fellow students in small and large group conversations and activities. So definitely our way of, again, welcoming you into the Xavier family and making sure that in those first 4 days, you're able to already begin making those lifelong friendships. Now let's talk about a little bit who the Xavier family is, right? Who are the students that we tend to attract year to year? And I think that this slide will really kind of start to let you into what that story is. Couple things that I really want to highlight tonight, just for the kind of sake of brevity of time. Most of our students are actually coming from outside of the state of Ohio. So for all of you who are coming from the great Buckeye State, this is a great opportunity to get to know folks from all over the country. You might have a roommate who's from California or from Boston or from Texas. And so it's a really great opportunity for you to get out and meet a new group of folks. 40% are also the only ones to come from their high school too. So I think that this just continues to reinforce that here at Xavier, we're a community of trailblazers. We're really not that school where everyone went to high school together and now we're all going to college together. Everyone's friend groups are kind of set. Everyone here at Xavier is really looking to make that fresh start, make that new community, and ultimately, again, start to welcome in new faces as they come over the course of the next 4 years. Talking about our academic offerings here, we have a lot of really great programs. So we have over 90 different degree programs, as well as 60 different minors across 5 different distinct honors programs as well. And I think what's really great about the Xavier educational experience is that regardless of whatever major you're in, the largest class that you're going to see is about 20 students. So what this means is that you have a tremendous opportunity to get to know the other people in your major, as well as to have a very personal relationship with your professors, to be able to bond over the passions that you have for your specific subject area. And not to mention, also take part in other unique research opportunities, take advantage of their connections in their specific field as well, and really just, again, be able to make the most of a hands-on experiential learning type opportunity. Now, some of the top majors that we tend to see coming in here to Xavier are listed here on the right. So specifically, we've seen a lot of interest in the health sciences in the last couple of years. We have a really great direct admit program for our College of Nursing. Again, direct admit, so you'll know right away whether you've been admitted. You'll start your classes your freshman year and earn your BSN. We also have a lot of students who are interested in pre-med or maybe pre-veterinary school, and they will specifically be interested in pursuing biomedical sciences. We actually had a 92% placement rate into medical school in our class of 2019. So definitely have had a really great reputation for those pre-health programs recently. On the other side of the coin, we definitely have a lot of students who are very interested in the business field, especially since we have Cincinnati about 10 minutes south of our campus. So our students can regularly do internships already during the year and during the summers with those Fortune 500 companies you'll find there. Now, one of the most unique elements of who we are here at Xavier, and again, how we continue to live our Jesuit heritage of being an all-for-one and cura personalis, or care for the whole person type of university, is through our 6-person success team. So this is something that we give each one of our students when they come onto our campus as freshmen. The first person they'll see is their success coach, who will help them to navigate those inevitable kind of bumps that you'll see transitioning from high school to college. You'll also have someone like an academic advisor who will be able to help you set up your your classes, a career coach to help you navigate the professional world after you leave. And ultimately, all these different individuals together really ensure that you have a happy, healthy, and successful 4 years at Xavier and also professional career after you leave. Now, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that one of the most fulfilling, I think, experiences of being a Xavier student is going to be by experiencing our Division I sports. So this is a shot from our Cintas Center located right here on our college campus, where our students are able to take in all of our athletic events for free, meaning all they have to do is swipe into the games themselves and they can find a seat in our student sections. We compete at the Division I level and the Big East Conference. So we're playing schools like Villanova and Georgetown and Butler and Marquette and making frequent trips to the March Madness tournament each spring. There's really so much to talk about. And again, I know Matthew wants me to wrap up so our friends from University of Louisville can jump on here and share. Once again, we are located here in Cincinnati. Great opportunities in our backyard for fun, professional sports, restaurants, anything you could really desire. And at the end of the day, we have that 98% success rate, which we've been able to maintain even in the midst of a global pandemic because of all the support services that we have here on our campus. If you have any more questions, because there's really so much more to learn about who we are here at Xavier, please feel free to search Find Your Counselor on xavier.edu, and I'll share that link in the chat so that you can have access to that information. Thank you so much, and let's go X.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, we could definitely talk about our schools for days. It's one of my favorite things to do. All right, with that being said, last but certainly not least, you will hear from the University of Louisville.
Hi, everyone. My name is Whitney Burris, and I am an admissions counselor here at the University of Louisville. I'm so excited to get to talk with you all tonight about U of L and about becoming a Cardinal. To kick us off tonight, I do have a short video to show you all again what it's like to be a Cardinal.
You walk in here and you don't know where you fit, but there are people from everywhere, and everyone's looking for friends, for fun, for their future. Jock, geek, troublemaker, nerd, blah, blah, blah. Forget your high school labels. Here, you'll live in a diverse world of individuals. The University of Louisville's student body is representative of the state, the country, the entire giant planet. Starting now, you get to define you. No.
All right, so I have learned that you all can hear it, but you cannot see it. So I'm gonna stop the share real quick and just move on to another presentation I have planned for you all. So give me 1 second to get adjusted real quick on here. All right. All right, we should be good to go now, I believe. So a couple of things really quick that I want to make sure to cover with you all is here at the University of Louisville, we are located in Louisville, Kentucky, but we're about 5 minutes outside of the metropolis area. So you definitely have a park-like campus, but you're really close to that downtown area. So you have access to all of the benefits of being in a metropolis area. Additionally, we offer over 200 different programs and majors for our students. We have over 12 colleges that our majors are within as well. Some of those that I want to make sure to mention tonight are our business programs, our nursing programs, and our speed school of engineering. Those are definitely some of our top and most favorite programs as well. We also have programs such as nursing, teaching and education. We have sports administration. So there's definitely something for you here at the University of Louisville, no matter what you're interested in. I also want to talk about our different student organization opportunities that we have available for you all. We have over 450 different student organizations. We have 34 different Greek organizations, and this includes the Divine Nine. So you're interested in Greek life, we definitely have a lot of opportunities. We offer over 30 different intramural clubs and sports available. So again, if you're interested in playing either at the recreational level or at the student competitive level, there is an opportunity for you there as well. So lots of different ways to get involved, lots of different ways to participate, and you can really make your collegiate journey what you want it to be here at the University of Louisville. Next thing that I want to talk about tonight is the cost of attendance. So for out-of-state students, the cost of attendance is going to be roughly $38,000 a year. So that comes out to be about $19,000 a semester. With room rates and meal plan, I do want to point out that there could be a little bit of difference in what is listed versus in what you choose. For example, room rates are going off of traditional and community style halls. So if you decide to live suite style, it could be a little bit different. Next, I want to talk about our Regional Scholars Award. We have two awards I'm going to talk to you about tonight, our Regional Scholars and our National Scholars Award. Something to keep in mind with both of these programs is you must apply and be accepted to U of L by May 1st. You don't have to apply for the scholarship. It's an automatic award. So if you live in the Cincinnati area, you are eligible to be a regional, to receive the Regional Scholar Award. So if you apply and you're admitted, you automatically get that $10,000 award. If you meet the test scores and the GPA requirements, then you will get bumped up to those awards as well. So a really great opportunity for those of you who live in the Cincinnati area. If you don't live in that area, no worries, you're still eligible for our National Scholars Award. So if you meet these ACT, SAT scores and these GPA requirements, then you are eligible for these awards as well. Lastly, I want to talk to you tonight about our admission timeline. So as you'll see here, it kind of lays it out by fall and spring of your senior year. We are rolling admissions in universities, so you can still apply today for fall 2021. Some of these days might flex a little bit, so I encourage you to check out our admissions website to stay up to date with our dates. Additionally, you can apply through the Common App, or you can apply through our website at louisville.edu. We are also test score optional for fall 2021 and fall 2022. And that's all my presentation tonight. Again, super quick overview. I do apologize, our video did not work. But if you have any questions about U of L, you want to learn more about our programs, our campus, whatever it might be, you can either call me, text me, schedule a meeting with me, and my information is on the screen. But it was great to talk with you all tonight, and go Cards.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think we have time for one group question. So at this time, I'm going to ask our reps to turn their cameras on. I think with this one, for folks who have answers to it, we can go in the order of presentation. But so the question that I have to ask the group for our students here tonight is, what tips would you give someone who's going through the college search process? I know there are many out there, but what tips would you give our students who are here tonight?
Great, I get to go first. Again, my name is William from University of Dayton. I would say two things. Number one is take time to visit and connect with the universities that you might be interested in, that might be on your list. Those are always great ways to learn more about each institution. University of Dayton has a number of visit opportunities, whether it's an on-campus tour, virtual admitted opportunity, a one-on-one appointment with admission counselors, and I'm sure my colleagues have just as many opportunities and varieties available. The second thing is understand that you're a different student than any of the student that academia have seen in the last 200 years. So understanding that there may be new things that you should give yourself grace on as you go through and learn about the process. You know, this is our first time admitting students who have had and experienced a pandemic. So we're learning as we go. So know that, you're not expected to know everything today, right now, but definitely be on the journey with the support of your high school guidance counseling staff, but also your admissions staff to be able to help you through your journey.
Awesome. I think we have time for maybe 2 more. Anyone would like to share?
I have something. Take your time on your application. Meet your deadlines, but plan ahead for them. So, if you need to get that transcript in by December 1st, for example, for UC, maybe reach out to your guidance counselor before Thanksgiving. So that way you're staying on top of everything. But yeah, it's not a race, take your time, meet your deadlines. That way you're being your best representation of yourself, because we only see what's on your application. We don't know anything else about you, so we want to learn as much as we can.
I would just say too, something William mentioned earlier that I love was, you're a very unique class in that you get access to resources that other classes haven't before, whether that's virtual tours, virtual information sessions offered by a number of different groups on different campuses. I think take the time now even to start looking at what's out there for your junior class, and so that by the time you might be able to be more comfortable or step foot on campus, you really are starting to understand that much more about what each university has to offer too.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you all once again. A big thank you to all these wonderful reps who shared all that they did about their schools. I'm going to go over just a couple notes as we wrap up. But once again, a huge thank you to all of our reps and a huge thank you to all of our students who joined us here during this fair. As I close out, a survey is going to pop up. If you could fill that out, that'd be fantastic. It really helps structure these fairs so they meet your needs the best that they can. As we mentioned, this is day 1 of a 2-day fair. So if you have time the next day to sign up for more, please do really lean into the joy of finding the right school and the right fit for you. And as we noted at the very start that we did film this, the same link that you used to sign up, you can find it in about a week's time. So you can go back, look through your notes, and have that link for as long as you need. All right, thank you all so much for being here. It was fantastic. I learned so much and I can't wait to visit all of your schools one day. All right, all have a wonderful night. Be safe and be well. Bye.